This is Jason Martell. We're on the other side of Planet X talking with David Hatcher-Childress and discussing some of his latest research that he's presented today at CPAK. David, thank you very much for joining us, and tell us a little bit about your research and some of the topics that you've discussed.
Oh, thanks, Jason. Yeah, I write a whole series of books about lost cities and ancient mysteries. I love to travel around the world and go to remote megalithic sites and investigate them. Some of them are underwater even.
Yes.
And I'm also the author of a book that you've probably read, which is the Technology of the Gods, all about ancient technology and how ancient societies had really a lot of the stuff we have today, including, I maintain, electricity, computers, even the ability of flight, heavier than air machines and things like that. One of my other books is about Vimanas, the ancient aircraft.
Yes.
That's a Sanskrit word, and supposedly the ancient Hindus in India, they had these flying machines and flew around. When you read the ancient Indian epics, like the Mahabharata, I mean, they read like the wildest science fiction. It's like some Buck Rogers TV show or something where they're flying around in these airships, zapping each other. And that's what the ancient Indian epics are all about. When you read, say, a modern novel and the hero suddenly flies off to London or something, goes to the airport, the novelist doesn't suddenly stop and say, oh, this is what an airplane is, and then describe a 747, how it works, and all the engines and stuff like that.
That's true.
And the ancient epics are like that, too. When they talk about these airships, these Vimanas, but they don't go into a lot of detail about them. But they found, in 1908, in the Royal Baroda Library in central India, they found an entire book that's just about these Vimanas.
Wow.
A book called the Vimanika Shastra. And this book goes into total details of the 4 types of Vimanas, pilots, even in some detail, the propulsion system of these craft. One of the Vimanas was a fixed-wing aircraft. Another was like a helicopter. Another Vimana was like a dirigible or tube-shaped aircraft. And the 4th kind of Vimana was a discoid flying saucer type craft.
That's amazing.
So it's kind of things that I'm interested in. And it seems so far-fetched, really, that ancient people, we think of people thousands of years ago as all being just barely out of their caves and, painting some buffalo or something like that, on a cave wall. But yet when you look at the ancient Indian epics and stories on Atlantis and other things like that, they're telling a whole different story. One of a really high-tech super civilization of the past that was destroyed in some cataclysm, much like we would say like Atlantis and stuff like that.
Interesting. So do you believe that these advances in some of this technology that are spoken about by a lot of the ancient cultures, do you think that these are perhaps being suppressed by world governments, or is it just a matter of us becoming more aware of this knowledge and starting to use it in everyday culture?
Yeah, I mean, there is some suppression of, I think, ancient findings, but generally it's just people are incredulous. As we go forward in time and discover more about the past, realize more. Archaeology is fortunately moving forward. We're realizing, too, with giant megalithic structures, even ruins that are underwater.
Yes.
So we realize that the Earth has changed over time. Right now we're going through climatic changes, but this has happened in the past, too. Devastating ones where ice sheets have melted or conversely, giant ice ages have occurred. The history of our planet, in my mind, goes back many, many tens of thousands of years, and civilization as well.
Wow, that's amazing. Tell us, David, where could the audience learn more about your research aside from just Googling David Hatcher-Childress? Do you have a website or anything where we could purchase some of your latest products?
Oh, yes. Well, we have a book company called Adventures Unlimited Press, and it has a website called adventuresunlimitedpress.com.
Okay.
And we also have a magazine called the World Explorer and a club called the World Explorers Club.
Oh, wow.
And the website for that, too, is wexclub.com. Not sex club, but Wex Club, W-E-X Club.com.
Excellent. Well, David, thank you so much for being a guest on the show and presenting your amazing research. Thank you.
Meet us on the launch pad next time as we gas up the mothership and blast off for Planet